This is the 2024 update of the lovely Sheila, who has been using the suite of products from the I Am Melanin Magic brand since our debut almost 3 years ago. Her hair looks marvelous. Are you tired of struggling with hair growth and thinning strands? Release the magic in your locks and tresses with I Am Melanin Magic hair oils. A premium blend of all natural ingredients strengthens, restores, and revitalizes your hair for maximum health and growth. Don't let thinning hair
straightened hair
brand. Upgrade your hair care game today.
So are you.
I Am Melanin Magic hair oil. Hello everyone out there, welcome to Tunisia's Locks Beauty Tips and Potpourri. This video will be a very short video, but it is one specifically for the newbies or those people out there who are considering getting Sisterlocks. There are a ton of reasons why maybe you should not get Sisterlocks, or maybe Sisterlocks may not be the best choice for you. This video is going to suggest 4 definite times when you definitely are going to want to either delay Sisterlocks or not get Sisterlocks at all. Let's go ahead and get into it, everyone. The first thing, okay, is when you are pregnant, all right? Or even in the early months of postpartum, or anything else that may have changed your internal constitution or messed with your hormones or put your body under any kind of stress. Let's say, for example, I remember I went on the Atkins after I had my last daughter, Ronnie, Sophia. I went on the Atkins and I dropped 30 pounds in a very short amount of time. And immediately when I hit the 15-pound loss, the hair loss started as well, because it was so sudden, because your body is under a lot of pressure. It's under a lot of stress to try to normalize and keep that homeostasis. So that's what can really happen. So when you're pregnant, the same thing happens. You're going to experience a surge in certain hormones during the pregnancy, and you're going to experience certain hormones coming down or beginning to come back more into balance in the months after, especially depending upon how long you may be breastfeeding. And so this is something you really want to consider, because normally for a lot of women, I can't think of what it's called for some reason. I did a video about this some years ago. But I wish telefluvium, I think is what it's called. Telefluvium, excuse me if I'm incorrect. Put it in the comments. Don't forget to give this video a like. Put it in the comments. Comment to me exactly your own opinion when you think it's not a good time to get Sisterlocks, because I would love to know if there's something else that you realize as well that's in concert with what I'm saying, or that may be different than what I'm saying. But with telefluvium hair loss, you are going to experience, the majority of women, I want to say something like 70-something% of women will experience a dramatic hair loss after they have a baby and things start to kind of stabilize again. And so as a result, you can actually lose locks. Whereas you would have been losing strands, you're going to actually be using locks, and you might not be a happy camper. So I would say wait until maybe 6 months minimum to a year and a half before making that decision. The next time is worth thinking about whether or not you want to get Sisterlocks, or if you want to delay it a little bit, is when your hair is really short. All right, now this is based upon the overwhelming complaints that I have received from customers, clients, people that I know, people that are on the channel, mine in the comments and so forth. When your hair is really short, most locticians require at least 2 to 4 inches of hair. When your hair is really short, the complaint that most women have is that the way the locks may look. And most people, when they're making the decision to get Sisterlocks or Microlocks, they are enjoying the lock abundance. They usually have a lock crush or someone they've been stalking for a while, and they're enamored with the idea of these locks. Well, these locks don't get like this overnight. And even if you start with a lot of hair, the locks do a lot of different things. For what the locks will do as they go through the different maturation phases, for what they will do anyway. For those people that are starting with really, really short hair, for them, it can feel magnified. Now, if you're someone that doesn't mind worrying about what other people think, and you're not imprisoned by the opinions of other people or the stares of other people or even the feedback from other people, be it good or bad, then you should continue to move on, because what I'm going to say is going to be irrelevant. But if you're someone who already has issues with a scalpy look, or you already have issues with your hair, if it's going to be shorter, it's going to have a scalpy look, and then you're going to also be transitioning to begin to decide whether or not you're ready to fall in love with your Sisterlocks or Microlocs journey, and then the locks or the hairs are going to start to do certain things like shrinkage. So if it's like this long, it's going to get like this, which means it's going to be shorter. And then the locks or the hairs are going to start to do all these other things that they like to do as they start to rebel, as you start to try to harness them and lock them into a grid and into an interlocking pattern. And for some people, that can feel weird, which causes them to feel that they look weird, or they don't feel as though they are as presentable. This is not my personal view, but this is based upon a lot of what I've heard from women. And so as such, they may decide they want to get extensions. And that's a whole nother topic. I kind of have always been against extensions when you're going through the locking stages, because I think there's so much beauty in the aspect of the stages that make it a spiritual journey. As well, sometimes, depending upon how you do them, who does them, and the kind of hair you use, and a lot of other things, adding that much hair onto your head can sometimes do you a disservice, or it can be to your detriment. Now, this is not in all cases, but it's definitely something that you kind of really want to consider. So think about how short your hair is, or what your hair may look like with shrinkage, with the hair once it starts to really tangle and lock, and then with a more scalpier look, which is what you're going to have for quite some time in the beginning. And that scalpier look is not going to be associated with the retightening or the relocking or the interlocking process. It's going to be associated with where you are in the journey. It's going to look scalpy anyway until the shedding hair starts to be embedded in and the lock thickens and all of that. So it's definitely something you want to think about. I know that really leads me to this next point, which is, if you have an image complex, a lot of people who are coming out of relaxers, wigs, and other types of hairstyles that allow you to put other people's hair in your hair, and also allow you to change your natural curl pattern via chemicals like a relaxer. Some of those people may not realize it until they transition to Sisterlocks or Microlocks or any other type of small lock, that they have an image complex, or that they put too much importance in the edifice and how things look on the outside. And that you may find when you go through this journey that you're more concerned about how you look, not just to other people, but also to yourself. You may realize that there have been holes in your level of self-love and self-acceptance, and just in the pride that you may have as a melanated person with some of the best hair on the planet, with some of the most diverse hair on the planet, with the most beautiful hair on the planet. It can be a while before you step into that. It may take you to get further in your journey and to really fall in love with your hair, with yourself, and everything about the kink in your hair. It may take you a little bit longer. So if you are someone who is not really grounded in your identity as a African woman of a woman of the African diaspora, if you are not really grounded in who you are, what makes you beautiful, you haven't really embraced the kink in your hair and what your hair does, and you haven't gotten to that level of spiritual evolution and even identity evolution, then when you do this and you decide to get Microlocs, Sisterlocks, it can do a job on your image in your own eyes if you're not grounded. This message isn't for everyone, but it is for that person who has a lock crush, someone that they look at a lot, or someone whose hair they really admire. and they're expecting that their hair is going to look like that, or that their hair is going to look a certain way so early in the journey. That's something you really, really want to be mindful of, because it can be shocking when you go through this journey. It was shocking for me because what my hair looked like in the months right after I had the install was very different in the way that it developed. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, like, I didn't know they were going to look like this. But fast forward 15 years, and I'm ready, if I decide to at a later date to go to a bigger, thicker lock at some point, potentially, I would be willing to consider that at this point, because I have fallen in love with the kink that is me, with the beauty that is me, in a way that is very different than what I could have ever been able to embrace without even knowing it, because I already thought I was in love with my look. I already thought I was in love with me. But the lock journey will take it to another level. So be mindful of that. That's very important for some people. Number four can seem like it's not a big deal if you haven't had your install yet, and you're sitting here and you're watching me and you have found who you may feel is the loctician of your dreams to do your hair, because this person can fit you into their schedule and you can see that they have the certification or whatever other maybe shallow or superficial things that you have accepted are the guide stick for making this decision, or the litmus test. Knowing that you have a reliable loctician and someone that you like and can trust. And when I say reliable, someone who's professional, someone who's credible, someone that you can depend on. Even reliability having to do with a little flexibility, because there are going to be a lot of things that you're going to come up against during the years that you will have this style that may require you to need to reschedule, that may require that person to need to reschedule, that may require some unpredictable level of flexibility. So you want a loctician who you feel good about, not just because they have a salon, but you really want to try to get a sense of other people's heads that they've done beyond the people who maybe are in pictures. You want to get a sense of what you get from someone when you build a brief rapport. You want to listen to all parts of your intuitive apparatus, okay? As your aura interacts with their aura, and your psychic field starts to pick up and pings certain things in that person's personality and in just how you react to them. You want to really be able to pay attention to these things, because ideally, if you can have the same person doing your hair the entire time, it's going to be a lot better. As infrequent that this happens, or as uncommon as this is, it is possible. I had the same lady doing my retightenings for the entire 14-year period, I believe it was. I had another lady who was my backup who also did my hair numerous times throughout that entire phase, and that is what blessed me. I trusted those individuals. They did good work on my head. If I ever had a concern or an issue, I could broach that and still feel that I was in good hands. Like, we had a likability factor and a friendship, and even a level of admiration that is unrivaled. If you don't have that, and you feel you have someone that you're settling for because they are at a certain price point, or let's say you settle for someone at a higher price point because you have been convinced in some way that this will guarantee you a nice head of Sisterlocks or Microlocs when you get an install. Let's say you settle for things like the location, or you settle for things like the fact that the person seems like they're a rigid follower of the philosophy, if you happen to be getting Sisterlocks. Those things honestly are not going to be the things that are going to matter at the end of the day. What's going to matter at the end of the day is everything that's not that. You want to be able to get along with a person. You need a mutual likability factor. You need mutual reciprocity, someone who you feel that as you pay them and you give to them, they also give to you, that they're invested in your hair. You want someone that can give you a quality redo, retightening, relocking, whatever it is. You want someone who cares about the client and who is invested long term. You want someone that has clients that they have done for long periods of time if they are a veteran technician. If you decide to settle for someone that is not, which oftentimes are the people that I tend to support along with the other people, because they tend to be a little bit more malleable, a little more flexible, a little bit more open-minded, a little bit less indoctrinated, more able to take under advisement your feedback and so forth. You have another set of advantages, but you also may have some challenges. So it's important to take the time to weigh all of these things before you make a decision. So these 4 things are really, really critical. Don't consider it when you're in the midst of a pregnancy or shortly after a pregnancy and giving birth. Don't consider it just based on, what a lock crush's hair may look like. If your hair is very short, try to do some Googling of what some styles look like when the hair is really short. If you have an image complex and you don't like the way your hair looks, or you feel that you may be concerned about what people in your workplace may say, or what your boyfriend may say, or your husband, or what your friends may say who are wearing wigs or who have relaxers, be mindful of that. And then last but not least, don't underestimate what it may take for you to be satisfied with your loctician. This is someone you want to go the distance with. You might even want to know, what are your long-term plans for continuing in this space? How long have you been doing this? Are you at some point interested in moving on and doing something else? Do you feel like if we get along or we have a synergy, I can at least get 5 years of commitment from you, provided we continue to be able to move forward amicably? Whatever the questions may be. I have a video. Actually, I have several videos on this channel that speak to some of the important things you want to consider during your installations. I want you to take a look at that video. I'm actually going to link it. I will pin it in the comments, but I will also definitely pin it in the description, because these are 4 things you definitely want to be aware of if you happen to be a newbie. You are with Tunisia Ali of I Am Melanin Magic, .com. And Tunisia's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri. If you have not purchased my Manifesting Your Masterpiece book, you can get that on Amazon. I'm sending you much love. Much love, much love. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And put in the comments, if you're a veteran and you happen to still be watching this channel, put in the comments what you felt were things that you needed to know. If they're different than what I'm saying. If you're new, tell me what else you feel is important, or what other questions you may have, so that I may add that to one of the upcoming videos. Love you. Bye. Welcome to Tunisia's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri, the channel where we get it all in. You can also learn more about the I Am Melanin Magic brand. Thank you for stopping by. Our magical hair growth serum did this after just 8 short weeks, 5 times per week. Denisha began with the premium oil blend in April, and by June she had already regrown hair. Angelica addressed thinning with the magical hair growth serum and continues to use the products to improve thinning in areas where it's been hard to regrow hair. Meet Kina. Her hair loss was spread over several areas. She went ham with the magical hair growth serum, and to the shock of her loctician, her hair began to rebound fast. She is delighted, and so am I. I am Melanin Magic, and so are you.